Imagine this. It's 3 a.m. You wake up freezing. You can see your breath in the bedroom air. You walk barefoot across the icy floor to your thermostat, a sleek $200 glass panel on the wall. You touch the screen, expecting the familiar orange glow, but instead you see a gray loading icon and a message. Server error 404. You think it's just a Wi-Fi glitch, so you go to the kitchen for water, but the smart fridge is unresponsive. The dispenser is locked. The hallway lights won't turn on. You try the front door to check the breaker box, but the handle won't turn because the smart lock has lost its connection to the cloud. In that moment, a realization hits you. Irrational, sticky fear. You aren't in a prison. You are in the house you've been paying a mortgage on for 5 years, but right now, in this silence, this house does not belong to you. It belongs to a company in Silicon Valley whose server decided to reboot. You are just a guest, a temporary tenant in a box of drywall and microchips. This sounds like a Black Mirror script, but for thousands of Americans, it's already happened. When the company Insteon suddenly shut down its servers without warning, homes across the country turned into bricks instantly. People who spent thousands on smart systems were left with useless plastic in their walls. In 1 second, their property ceased to be their property. But let's be honest, it's not just smart homes. Look at the smartphone in your hand, your movie collection, your car. Ask yourself one terrifying question. Do I actually own any of this? If Apple, Amazon, or Tesla decide to ban your account tomorrow, what do you have left? Welcome to the subscription economy, a world where private property quietly died and we didn't even notice we were attending the funeral. We traded ownership for convenience. We agreed to let every aspect of our lives become a service. I've worked in investment banking for over a decade. I'm used to looking at the world through Excel spreadsheets, and what I see now isn't just a business model shift. It is the largest transfer of wealth in history. Ideally, the deal used to be simple. You paid money, you got the product. Period. Now you pay forever. $10 for music, 15 for movies, 40 for software, 50 for heated seats in your car. It seems like small change, the price of a few coffees. But as a financier, let me tell you the truth. This is the mathematics of poverty. We have entered the era of neo-feudalism. Corporations realize that selling you a product once is bad business. It is far more profitable to rent your own life back to you, piece by piece, month after month. Over the next hour, I'm going to show you the numbers. We will calculate the real cost of this convenience over 10 years. We will break down how farmers are losing the right to fix their tractors and why you soon won't be able to repair your own fridge. You will understand why the phrase, "you will own nothing and be happy," isn't a utopia. It's a threat to your wallet. You might think physical objects give you safety, but that was the biggest illusion of the last decade. And we are about to shatter it. Let's talk about your car. For most Americans, a vehicle is the second most valuable asset after a home. It's a symbol of freedom. But a few years ago, that symbol cracked. BMW decided to run an experiment, selling a subscription for heated seats. $18 a month. Here is the devilish nuance. The heating coils, the wires, the fuses were already installed in the car at the factory. You already paid for the copper, the plastic, and the labor when you bought the car for $50,000. But the software blocks the current. The hardware is yours, but the on switch belongs to BMW. It's the gamification of reality. Your life is now a free-to-play mobile game where you have to pay $1 to open a loot box. And BMW isn't alone. Mercedes owners can pay a yearly subscription to unlock the full acceleration of their electric motors. The engine is physically capable of that power, but the code chokes it until you link a credit card. This is called a soft lock. Why do they do this? I'll answer as a banker. Wall Street valuations. If you just sell hardware, investors value you low. But if you sell subscriptions, you generate ARR, annual recurring revenue. Companies with subscription models are valued 5 to 10 times higher. That's why every CEO wants to turn their product into a service, even if that product is a damn printer. HP has perfected this model to a level bordering on racketeering. With their instant ink service, if your credit card expires or you cancel the subscription, the printer stops printing. Even if the cartridges inside are physically full of ink. The printer checks the server, sees unpaid status, and refuses to work. Think about the absurdity. The ink is in your house, on your desk. But the printer acts like a debt collector, saying, I don't care that the ink is here. Pay up, or I'm a brick. We used to think a receipt was proof of ownership. Now a receipt is just an entrance ticket, a temporary license. And you might think, fine, Mike, I'll just hack it. I'll find a guy in a garage to jailbreak my tractor or phone. That was always our backup plan. But corporations anticipated this. They didn't just put a lock on the device, they lobbied for laws that make touching that lock a federal crime. Let's transport ourselves to the heartland. Nebraska, cornfields, harvest season. A farmer jumps into his $500,000 John Deere combine. He turns the key, but the engine is silent. A $5 sensor has failed. 50 years ago, he would have grabbed a wrench and fixed it in 10 minutes. Today, he can't. Physically, he can replace the part, but the tractor's software will go into limp mode because the repair wasn't authorized by a certified technician. He has to wait days for a dealer to come out and charge $150 an hour just to plug in a laptop and click Approve. This isn't safety, it's a monopoly. John Deere is saying, you bought the metal, but the brains belong to us. It got so bad that American farmers started buying hacked firmware from Ukrainians on the black market. Imagine that. Patriotic American farmers turning into cyber criminals just to harvest their crops. And if you think this is a rural problem, look at your iPhone. Apple uses part serialization. If you swap the screens of two identical new iPhones, they glitch out. The phone rejects the transplant because the serial numbers don't match. This is planned obsolescence 2.0. They used to make things break. Now they make them smart enough to refuse repair. They want to create a black box. If you can't open it, you don't own it. If you can't fix it, you are just a tenant. But with hardware, we still have the illusion of control because of the weight in our hands. Now consider the digital world, where they have abolished the concept of buying entirely. Remember the shelves of DVDs in your parents' living room? They took up space, sure, but when you held a copy of The Matrix, you knew it was yours. No one could break into your house and steal it just because a licensing deal expired. Now look at your digital library on Steam or Amazon. You've spent thousands of dollars clicking buy. But that button is a lie. It is the most expensive lie on the internet. Recently, Sony told PlayStation users that due to a licensing dispute with Discovery, purchased TV shows would be deleted from their libraries. No refunds. People who paid real money simply lost their property because Sony wiped it from the server. Imagine a bookstore employee breaking into your home and taking books off your shelf because the store had a fight with the publisher. In the digital world, this is standard procedure. Amazon once remotely deleted George Orwell's 1984 from Kindles. The irony is staggering. They used totalitarian control to confiscate a book about totalitarianism. A Ubisoft executive recently said the quiet part out loud. Gamers need to get comfortable with not owning their games. We are building castles out of smoke. We are not collectors, we are tenants with zero rights. You can't leave your Steam library to your children in your will because your account dies with you. We are paying for air, and they can cut off the supply at any moment. You might say, so what? It's just entertainment. I would agree if it stopped there. But now corporations are coming for the roof over your head. The American dream always had a clear visual, a white picket fence, a manicured lawn, and a home you own. It was the foundation of the middle-class economy. You pay a mortgage for 30 years and you retire with an asset. Forget that. That dream was murdered by Wall Street. Imagine a young couple, Sarah and Tom. They save for a down payment, find a starter home in Atlanta, and make an offer over the asking price. Then the realtor calls. Sorry, you lost. Cash offer, $30,000 over, closed in 24 hours. They didn't lose to another family. They lost to an LLC owned by a giant fund like BlackRock or Vanguard. Since 2008, institutional investors have been vacuuming up single-family homes to turn them into permanent rentals. In some neighborhoods, corporations own a third of the housing stock. You cannot compete. You bring a knife to a gunfight, they bring a tank. They have cheap billions in credit and algorithms that buy houses in milliseconds. Generation Z is trapped renting the very homes they wanted to buy, paying off the corporation's investment while building zero equity for themselves. Add Airbnb to the mix, turning city apartments into illegal hotels, and you have a nation of tenants. Lords own the land, peasants pay the rent. As a banker, I see a financial black hole. Mortgage payments build equity, it's forced savings. Rent payments just burn money. Why is this happening? Let's turn off the emotions for a minute. Forget about evil corporations, morality, and ethics. Let's look at the raw math. I'm a banker, I believe in numbers, and in this case, the numbers aren't just not lying, they are screaming. The main trick of the subscription economy is exploiting a vulnerability in the human brain. We are evolutionarily unequipped to understand compound interest and long-term costs. We live in the moment. When you see the price of a new iPhone, say $1,200, your brain sends a pain signal. It's expensive. It hits the budget. You have to think. You have to save. But when you are offered the same phone for $50 a month, or a Netflix subscription for $15, the brain relaxes. Puffed, that's the price of a sandwich. I can afford that. This is a cognitive trap, and it doesn't snap shut immediately but years later. Let's audit the life of a typical U.S. digital citizen. Music, Spotify/Apple is $11. Video, Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, Hulu. The average bundle is now about $50 to $60 if you want ad-free 4K. Cloud storage is $10. Work software, Microsoft 365 Adobe, is at least $60. Delivery and perks, Amazon Prime, Uber One, are $25. Health, gym, apps like Calm, Whoop, is another $40 to $50. Dating apps, Tinder Gold, yes, people pay for hope too, are $30. And now, the new features from the physical world, heated seats, autopilot, Ring doorbell subscriptions. The total comes to $250 to $300 a month. It seems manageable for a working person. Well, I'll spend $300, but it's convenient. I have access to the whole world. But in investment banking, there is a concept called opportunity cost. The money you hand over for renting digital services is money you didn't invest. These are soldiers you sent to the slaughter instead of ordering them to capture territory. Let's do the math. Take that $300. Imagine you are a disciplined investor. Instead of feeding corporations, you put that money into a standard S&P 500 index fund. The average historical return is 10% annually with dividends reinvested. You do this throughout your career, say 40 years. Do you know what number will be in your account when you retire? $1,600,000. Let that sink in. $1.6 million. That is the price of your convenience. You are not just buying music and TV shows, you are literally burning your future fortune. You are trading a secure old age, a house by the lake, and your grandchildren's education for the ability to watch Stranger Things without ads right now. But the problem is even deeper. It would be a fair trade if prices stayed the same. But they don't. Meet the phenomenon of streamflation. Remember when Netflix was $8? It was a great deal, the cable killer. Now, the premium tier is creeping toward $23. That's nearly a 300% increase in 10 years. No salary in the US has grown at that speed. We have come full circle. In 2010, we cut the cord to escape the monopoly of cable providers who charged us $100 a month. We thought we won. Today, to get all the content that used to be in one cable package, you need to subscribe to 5 or 6 different services. In the end, you pay the same $100 or more. Only now you have to manage 6 different accounts. This is market fragmentation, and it is a goldmine for Wall Street. Why are companies so obsessed with this? Why did Adobe switch from selling boxes to subscriptions? Why does Microsoft no longer want to sell you Windows forever? The answer lies in a metric called LTV, lifetime value. In the old economic model, you were a buyer. You bought Photoshop for $600 in 2010, and Adobe didn't see a cent from you until 2015, if you decided to upgrade. You controlled the situation. In the new model, you are not a buyer. You are a cash flow. You pay $55 a month. In 5 years, you hand over $3,300. In 10 years, $6,600. You overpay 1,000% for the exact same product. and you can't stop paying because then you lose access to your own work files. For stock market investors, a subscription company is worth 5 to 10 times more than a company selling goods. Because a subscription is predictability. It is a needle. Once you are hooked, the LTV becomes infinite. You will pay until you die. This creates a fundamental shift in generational wealth. Look at your parents' balance sheet, boomers. Under assets, they have a paid-off house, 2 cars, a vinyl collection, tools in the garage, gold. These are real things. They can be sold. They can be inherited. Look at the balance sheet of a millennial or Zoomer. Under assets, there is a void. The phone is leased, the car is leased, the apartment is rented. Music, movies, software, rented. If a millennial loses their job, their life collapses in a month. They have no liquidity. They can't sell their Spotify subscription to buy food. Their net worth is 0. Rich people own assets. Poor people own subscriptions. That is why corporations love this model so much. It keeps you vulnerable. It keeps you on a short leash. You can't afford to take risks, take a sabbatical, or start a business because your monthly deductions, your rent for life, will devour you instantly. It's the rat race 2.0. Only now the hamster wheel is in your living room, it's connected to Wi-Fi, and you pay $39.99 a month for the right to run on it. But the scariest part is that they know this math better than we do. Their offices are filled with thousands of analysts like me who calculate every cent. And they know something else. They know how to get inside your head so you don't even try to resist. Have you ever caught yourself looking at a bank statement and seeing a charge for a service you haven't used in 6 months? You tell yourself, oh hell, I need to cancel that. But then you get distracted by a call, work, life. And a month later, you see the same charge again. You think you're just lazy or disorganized. I am here to tell you it is not your fault. Your laziness was planned in the business model. Your forgetfulness is a line item on their revenue sheet. Corporations have hired the best behavioral psychologists and neurobiologists to hack your brain's reward system. They use your own biology against you. The first and most powerful mechanism is called eliminating the pain of paying. In behavioral economics, this isn't a metaphor. When you physically take a $100 bill out of your wallet and hand it over, MRI scans show activity in the insular cortex of the brain. This is the same area that lights up when you stub your toe on a nightstand. Spending cash is physically painful. It is an evolutionary fuse that stops us from squandering resources. The subscription model is anesthesia. You enter your card details once. Then charges happen automatically, often at night while you sleep. You receive the product but feel no moment of separation from your money. The purchase pain link is severed. This allows you to spend significantly more without feeling guilty. You are like a patient on an operating table. Blood, money is flowing out, but you are sedated and feel nothing. The second trick is the endowment effect. Why does every service offer a free trial? 7 days free, 30 days free. Do you think they are generous? Psychologists know as soon as you start using a thing, you begin to consider it yours. After 30 days of using Netflix, giving it up is perceived by the brain not as saving money, but as losing something that belongs to me. Humans hate losing much more than they love gaining. This is called loss aversion. Corporations let you hold the toy for free, knowing that in a month you would rather pay than endure the pain of loss. The third trick is the dirtiest. In interface design, this is called dark patterns, specifically the Roach Motel. The concept is simple. The entrance is wide and inviting, but there is no exit. Subscribe to a service? 1 click. Face ID? 2 seconds. No forms, no questions. Try to unsubscribe. The cancel button is never on the main page. It is hidden in settings under a submenu called billing, then plan management. It is written in gray font on a light gray background, but even when you find it, they won't let you go. The interrogation begins. Are you sure? Maybe just pause? Here is 50% off for the next 3 months. In that moment, you think, oh, a discount. Okay, I'll stay. You just got caught. You stayed in the system, and in 3 months, the full price returns, and you forget to cancel again. Some industries have taken this to the absolute extreme. Remember American gyms like Planet Fitness or Gold's Gym? You can join online in 5 minutes. But to cancel the contract, the button on the site doesn't work. They tell you, for security reasons, you must come to the club in person. You go, the manager isn't there, or they start guilt-tripping you. Are you giving up? Quitting on your health? Or even more insane, they require you to send a certified mail letter to headquarters. In 2024, to cancel a digital record, you have to go to the post office, buy an envelope, and a stamp. They know that for Generation Z and millennials, finding a mailbox is an impossible mission. They count on the inertia tax. This is billions of dollars in pure profit made from people who want to leave, but the system makes leaving too hard. The fourth trick is price splintering. They never tell you, this costs $200 a year. They say, just $16 a month. Or even better, less than a cup of coffee a day. They compare their services to trivial expenses so the price seems negligible. But if you add up all these cups of coffee, you find you are spending the equivalent of a used car on caffeine every couple of years. The result of this psychological attack is the phenomenon of zombie subscriptions. Studies show that 42% of consumers pay for subscriptions they never use. People forget about them or think, hey, I'll cancel later. The average American thinks they spend about $86 a month on subscriptions. The real number when checking bank accounts? $219. We underestimate the scale of our slavery by almost 3 times. We live in an illusion. We are frogs in a pot of water being slowly heated by the flame of psychology. We have gotten used to this temperature. Our pain threshold has shifted. But if losing money is half the trouble, the next stage of this system's evolution threatens not your wallet, but your physical reality. We have reached the darkest part of our conversation. To what awaits us around the corner if we don't hit the brakes right now? You think the subscription economy hit bottom when BMW asked for money for heated seats? No, that was just a warm-up. Tech giants are preparing the infrastructure to monetize not just things, but your biology and your perception of reality itself. Look at the arms race in augmented reality. Apple Vision Pro, Meta Quest, they all want to put glasses on you. They sell it as spatial computing, as a new level of productivity. But let's face the truth as financiers and marketers. Why do they need this? Because the smartphone screen is too small. It occupies only a part of your vision. Glasses occupy all of your vision. Once AR glasses become mass market and replace smartphones, the real world will turn into a web page without an ad blocker. Imagine 2030. You're walking down the street. You look at a historic building, but a huge animated banner for a coffee shop pops up over it. You look at a passerby, and above their head, you see their rating in a dating app or an ad for their personal brand. The world will become spammed. The visual noise will be unbearable. And then the corporation offers you a solution. Subscription Reality Premium. For $29.99 a month, we will block ads in your eyes. We will give you back the clear sky. We will remove logos from passersby's clothes. You will pay a tax on reality. The poor will see a world plastered with ads and pop-ups. The rich will see a clean world. It is digital apartheid built right into your retina. Sounds like the ravings of a madman? Remember YouTube. 10 years ago, there were almost no ads. Now it is impossible to watch without premium. They artificially created a problem, annoyance, and sold you the solution. With glasses, they will do the same. Only this time, you won't be able to look away. But if visual garbage can be tolerated, what about physical threats? In February 2023, Ford filed an official patent application in the U.S. titled Systems and Methods to Repossess a Vehicle. In this document, which is publicly available, Ford engineers describe an algorithm for educating an owner who is late on a loan payment. It is a manual for turning your car into your jailer. Stage 1. Annoyance. If you missed a payment, the car starts disabling comfort functions. First, cruise control stops working, then GPS, then the air conditioning. Imagine summer in Florida, 95 degrees in the shade, you are driving to work, and your car intentionally roasts you in the cabin, reminding you of your debt to the bank. Stage 2. Sound torture. If you still don't pay, the audio system begins to emit an unpleasant, piercing sound every time you get in the car. The car literally screams at you. Stage 3. Lockout. The car simply doesn't open the doors. Are you late for work? The bank doesn't care. And the finale described in the patent is pure cyberpunk. If the car is equipped with an autopilot system, it can drive away from you. At night, while you sleep. It will open the garage itself, drive onto the road, and head to the bank's repo lot. Or even more cynically, if the algorithm decides the car's market value is too low, it will drive itself to a junkyard for recycling. Your property rebels against you. The thing you wash on weekends and gave a name to turns you into creditors, and this logic will inevitably come to medicine. In fact, it is already there. Millions of Americans use CPAP machines for sleep apnea. Recent scandals have shown that these machines spy on users. They send data about your sleep to insurance companies. If you didn't sleep well enough or forgot to wear the mask one night, the insurance company can refuse to pay for treatment or raise your premiums. What's next? Pacemakers by subscription? Your heart rhythm subscription expires in 24 hours. Please update your card details to continue life support. Legally, there is no difference between the software in your phone and the software in your artificial heart. In both cases, you are an end user, not an owner. We are moving toward the merger of all these systems. Your FICO credit score, your browsing history, your medical data, and your driving history will merge into a single corporate citizen social score. Missed a payment for your smart fridge? Your score dropped. Now you can't rent an apartment in a good neighborhood because the landlord's algorithm sees you as a risk. Canceled your gym subscription? Your health insurance got more expensive because the algorithm decided you stopped taking care of your health. This is Neo-Feudalism 2030, a world where you have nothing of your own, where every action, every step, every breath is a transaction that is evaluated and monetized. You live in the Lord's house, BlackRock, ride the Lord's horse, Ford, and work in the Lord's fields, Google. And if the Lord is unhappy, he simply disconnects you from the system. But you know what? I don't want to live in such a world. And I am sure you don't either. The good news is that this matrix is not yet fully built. It has cracks. And right now, before it's too late, we can start the resistance. So what do? Just accept it? Sign another user agreement and hope for the algorithm's mercy? No. We will resist. And this resistance does not begin with rallies on the streets. It begins with your bank statement. The first step is a financial exorcism. Tonight, sit down and open your transaction history for the last 3 months. Highlight every recurring payment with a red marker. You will be horrified. You will find subscriptions for apps you opened once in 2019. Be ruthless. If you haven't used a service in the last 30 days, kill it. Netflix, Hulu, beauty boxes, cancel everything. Live in silence for a month, and if you really miss something, subscribe again. But most likely you will feel relief, like you dropped ballast. The second step is a return to the physical. They want you to believe that discs and vinyl are archaic, that it's inconvenient. But in the age of digital censorship, physical media is the only way to preserve culture. Buy your favorite movies on 4K Blu-ray. Buy your favorite albums on vinyl or CD. Build a home library of paper books. Because a disc on your shelf cannot be remotely edited. It cannot be deleted due to an expired license. It cannot be canceled. It is your ark. If the internet goes down tomorrow, your collection remains with you. Invest in hard drives. Create your own local server. Keep your photos at home, not on Google or Apple servers. Yes, it requires effort. Yes, you need to figure out the settings. But that is the price of independence. The third step is supporting the right to repair. When you choose a new gadget, vote with your dollar. Check if the laptop has a replaceable battery. Can you add RAM? If not, don't buy it. Look for companies that respect you as an owner. Framework, Fairphone, good old ThinkPads. Don't be afraid to buy used items. An old car without the internet and autopilot might turn out to be more reliable than a new smartphone on wheels. An old stereo system will sound better than a smart speaker that listens to your conversations. Ownership is a skill. We have forgotten how to care for things because we are used to throwing them away. Learn to sew a button. Learn to change oil. Learn to reinstall an operating system. Every time you fix a thing with your own hands, you strike a blow against the system that wants to make you helpless. And most importantly, change your mindset. Corporations sold us the idea that ownership is a burden, that things weigh us down, that renting is freedom. That is a lie. Ownership is responsibility. Yes, things need to be stored, fixed, and maintained. It is labor. But that labor is the foundation of freedom. You cannot be a free person if you live in a rented house, drive a rented car, and watch rented dreams, because the landlord can evict you from your life at any moment. Look at that graph one last time. That curve of your capital. You can choose the path of the passive consumer and end up empty-handed with a pile of digital receipts. Or you can choose the path of the owner. It is harder. It is a conscious path, but it is the only path that leads to real wealth. Not just financial, but spiritual wealth. You will own nothing and be happy? I choose something else. I will own my things. Maybe a little, maybe old, but mine. And only then will I be truly happy, because happiness cannot be rented. It can only be created. My name is Mike, and this is not financial advice. It is a wake-up call. Own your things, or your things will own you. The choice is yours.